And welcome to Writer's Life, the place where you get the sight, sound, smells, taste of my particular writer's life and where you get the truth about the writer's life. Subscribe if you haven't already, punch the like button, the bell for notifications so that you don't miss out on one single solitary exciting video. How exciting these are, huh? I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas day. And that you got all the stuff you wanted, that you didn't fight with your spouse. So cynical, aren't I? Hey, Phil. Merry Christmas, Phil. Phil's coming on the show when he gets his new project finished, or at least to a place that needs to be. Looking forward to that one. God, thinking about Christmases past. I was never a big, don't take this the wrong way, but I was never a big fan of Christmas Day. I was always a bigger fan of Christmas Eve. When you partied a little bit and all that sort of stuff, or I'd go out with whatever girlfriend I was seeing at the time back when I was in military school, and you'd always find a place to park and all that stuff. I swear to God, I thought my parents were oblivious to it, right? Of course they knew what was going on. Kids are up to no good. But those were fun times. And then would come Christmas Day, and everybody'd be like hungover, and like relatives would come over. My mother hated it. My mother couldn't stand it. Or my father would make us because my mother's half Polish, but my father's all Italian, and because he's all Italian and Catholic, well, I should use the past tense. He's dead, but he would make us go see like all his relatives and stuff, and I hated it. He'd be like, "Okay, now for relative number 4," and I'd be like, "Can we just go home so I could play with my toys or whatever?" And it sucked. You'd like go to these people's houses and like you'd just stand around. And everybody'd be cranky because like my parents would usually be fighting because number one, my dad was also a musician and he was probably out late that night, so he probably got no sleep. And two, I would imagine when I was really young, they were on a budget, and my mother would always blow the budget on Christmas, and he would get pissed, and all that stuff. So it would be tense. In any case, I couldn't wait for Christmas Day to be over. Things got a lot easier as I got by the time I entered high school, military school, whatever, because my father's company was doing much better, and they had more money to spare. And eventually, we started like, we'd be home for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but then we'd go on a little skication. I think that's when we did it. Yeah, I think we'd go on a ski vacation a little bit, and yeah, because I can remember spending some New Year's like in Vermont or whatever, and so that was much more fun, of course. But anyway, I hope you all had a good one. I hope you spent it doing some good stuff. Philly, what are you saying? Can't wait. Set to be assistant editor and writer for a gritty fiction and non-woke humor magazine from Gutter Books. Stay tuned. All right, you gonna publish me, dude? Half Italian myself. Christmas is huge. Mass food, huge family, etc. Yeah. I know what that's about. Yeah, I ate a lot yesterday. I have to admit, for a guy like I had a normal day yesterday. Because the boys went to their mothers. My daughter's Jewish and she's with her mother. And so like I haven't spent a Christmas with family, and let's see, I'm usually in Italy around this time, and this year I didn't go because of you all know I've been bitching about it because of the skiing, which is non-existent. But anyway, my mother did come to visit. I want to say 2016. And we so that was like the last family Christmas I had. because Ava and Laura were also there, so that made it cool. Um, and then I think that was the year. No, it wasn't. The year before, Ava and Laura were there too, and that was a big project that year because they came to Italy for a couple weeks, and we stayed at the apartment, and then in Florence, and then we went to Rome for a little bit, and then I might have no, we went up to Venice. No, we had to have gone to. I don't remember. No, I picked them up in Rome, and we stayed in Rome for a few days, and then we went to Florence for like 2 weeks or whatever, 10 days, and then we went to Venice for a couple nights. And don't stay in Venice. If you stay in Venice, don't stay anywhere within proximity of the casino because it just like you can hear it like all night. Anyway, um, and then I thought it would be a real treat to take the night train from Venice to Paris. I thought Ava would have a blast because at the time she was like 9 or 10, and she was about 10, maybe 11. Anyway, and she did. She had a blast, but it turned out it wasn't like great for the adults because I've taken night trains all over the world, right? And most of them are really good. Um, Good food, like really just a lot of fun. In fact, the trains in Egypt are pretty good. And I went with some people in May, this past May, and we were on night trains twice, and we just took over the car, and it was just one huge party the whole time. It was a blast. I like that stuff. I like that stuff a lot. But anyway, at the time, and this is not long ago, Europe was considering like just ending night train travel, and so that people flew more. But then they discovered it wasn't practical, so now they're going back to night train travel, which I'm glad for, because it's really an adventure, and it really harkens back to an older time and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, Laura left like a bag on the train. We were exhausted, and that was kind of a disaster. But she was quick to get over it. And as disappointing as it was, I can understand. And we spent New Year's in Paris on the Rivoli. So cost me a few bucks. Yes, it did, but it was worth it. I wanted to, but I had promised David. I'm like, oh, there's gonna be fireworks and all this stuff, and they're like, like we go out for midnight, we stay up, and they're like, no, we outlawed the fireworks a long time ago. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's not what it says in the brochure. All right, my French accent is not very good. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about today. I always go off on these tangents. First, I want to see what else Mr. Philly's got to say. Yes, would love a submission from you when it's ready in 01. I'll email you. Okay, Mr. Philly. If you don't publish my story, I'll have your legs broken. No, I get a feeling Big Philly's a lot bigger than me. So, just joking. No, actually, I would love to be in your magazine because I like gutter books a lot. Those guys rock. All right, so this morning, Fran Lewis, the great Fran Lewis, interviewed me regarding the Moonlight Falcon, now available in hardcover. No, the Moonlight Falcon, now available in paperback, audiobook, and ebook at your favorite store. But anyway, she's like starts asking all these questions about the book, and I'm like, what book are we talking about? Because once I finish a book, and I wrote this one last year, like I don't remember it. I remember once like Paul McCartney saying like, to go on tour, he has to like relearn all the Beatles songs. He's like, I don't remember how to play that shit. Are you kidding me? And a bunch of the early Wings songs and stuff like that. He's like, I don't remember how to play that shit. It's not like I go around thinking about them all the time. Once it's done, it's done. It's like packaged up, boom, out to the public. and and Fran's pretty big, and she has like a lot of the A-listers on her show. Tess Garrett. She's like, oh, by the way, I sent this to the New York Times. They wanted it, and um, uh, Tess Gerritsen wanted to read it and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, all right, okay. So she's reading it. She's like, as we speak, she's reading it. And I'm like, that's interesting. Okay. Um, but I just, but not Tess, but Fran really gets in the nitty gritty of the book, and like she wants to know, like she does that whole like, what's the what's Moonlight's motivation here? Like what about his nemesis in this story? What about his partner? What's his motivation? What about Detective Miller? What's his like why did you choose to do this at the in this place and that place and I'm like, oh my god. And I'm always giving her the standard answer. It must be frustrating for her. Well, she always has me on, so it must not be too frustrating. But I'm always telling her, like, I don't know. It just comes out, and that's just the way I write it. And it's the truth. I don't think about it. I don't plan it. It just comes out that way. And then once it's down on paper, and I've gone over it a few times, and it's goes to the editor, and that's done, and it's in this case, it's down and out books, so like they take care of everything else. I forget about it. I totally forget about it. I mean, there are certain stories and in books that I have that I think about, can remember, everything, but pretty much everything. But then there are others I forget about, like, completely. Like, I'll write them and they'll be done and they'll be on my hard drive, and oh my god, I forgot about that book I wrote 4 or 5 years ago. Like, holy shit. So anyway, that happens. It really happens. Thumbs up. Oh, Linda Enright. Merry Christmas, Linda. My friend Linda Enright. A lot of these people used to see me on Facebook, but I'm still not back on Facebook, nor have I tried. And it most definitely, back off on another tangent again, most definitely hasn't affected sales. So I'm not so sure I'm going back. I have a meeting with the webmaster on the 28th, so I'll get his take on the whole thing and if we should pursue this, going back to Facebook. I have a feeling I'll be able to get back on fairly easily if I want to. I don't know. Can't hurt. What's Linda have to say again? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Linda. 24 can't be any worse than 23. Well, maybe it can be. It's going to be volatile, that's for sure. But it was a rough one for a lot of people. A lot of people with families. Say a prayer for them, because I don't know how any family with 2 kids, 3 kids, like are making it, unless they just have awesome jobs, stellar jobs that are bringing in, 6 figures at least. Plenty of families this year probably struggled to even put a few gifts under the tree for their kids. With living expenses at least $1,000 more than they were per month just 3 years ago. So my heart goes out to them. I remember how hard it was, and I had a great job at the time, raising toddlers and stuff like that, and trying to make expenses ends meet, stuff like that. So anyway, hope New Year's better. Let's see what Linda says again. I didn't mention the New Year. She says, don't jinx it. I didn't say anything about the New Year, did I? All right, with that, I will let you guys go. I hope you're all enjoying it. Anybody who's taking the week off, I hope you're all enjoying yourselves, resting up, doing all that good stuff. And I will come to you. Probably in a day or two. Philly. Lean Christmas this year, but my kids are great. We still had good holiday. Got to preserve it in this. Got to persevere in this dystopia. Yeah, that's all you can do, right? That's all you can do. All right. With that, I will talk to you guys later. And ciao.